Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I am your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 166. And it's about what you can expect from me this coming year, as well as answering a request that I had from some listeners. But first, the update. I'm going to do the updates, but first the updates. So this episode goes live on Wednesday, New Year's Eve, baby. So happy New Year to each and every one of you. I hope that you are happy with whatever it is you have decided to do. When I worked at Emerald City Trapeze Arts, me and Gary, the owner and founder of the place, well, we would put on a big show called Gala Luna Blanca every New Year's Eve. Big aerial show, big dance party. And we'd have these parties and shows like 4 times a year at least. But New Year's Eve is weird. And towards the end of the evening, we'd just be like sort of standing in the back of the venue, watching people, do their New Year's Eve thing. You're like, this holiday is weird. Like, it brings out a weird side of people. I think it's just all the pressure. There's so much pressure to like do something significant. Oh my God. I think maybe I used to feel the same way. I don't anymore. If you are an aerialist, then you may have had this experience of being the ball at midnight, countdown, midnight, then you do a wheel down or a big spin in a hoop or whatever, like you're the ball. I have lost count of how many times I have been the ball. So I feel good on that. And I haven't even had a gig in the past couple of years, which is really quite lovely. So instead of working, me and Manflesh generally pick a movie. We go out to eat, we have sushi, and then we go to a movie. And the movie is strategic so that grandma over here, that's me, who likes to go to bed at 9:15, can stay up until midnight. If it's a good movie, I will be able to stay awake. And we time it, right? So that the movie gets out and we have time to get home, pour a glass of something tasty, cheers the new year, big kiss, go to bed. And I love it. I am not bored with that. That sounds like a great time to me. But it is. It is a weird holiday, and it makes people feel strange because it's so loaded. It's just a loaded holiday. But let's just remember, for posterity's sake, that every single fucking day can be a new year. Every single one. But something I do like about this holiday is that almost everyone observes it, even if they don't do anything to celebrate it. But after that big old shuffle of like, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy solstice, what is the correct word for me to use? You can just say, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's so refreshing. So this episode is by request from my dear Dalta, and also by proximity, I think, Fallon. And Dalta, aka Angel, hello darling, asked if I would define shadow work. Not because he doesn't know what it is, because he definitely knows what it is. But it is hard to define. And you know what? A lot of the things that we and I talk about are hard to define. Like, you know them when you see them. Like, you can meet someone and be like, so you're a witch, right? Yeah, I recognized you. But like, what does that mean? We don't have any good definitions. Much like saying, oh, you're an artist. I recognize you. But it really could be that simple. So I thought today would be a great day to define some terms. It is, of course, the world according to Rachel Strickland. So take it with all the salt that you need. Frankenstein it, make your own definitions. But clarity is so helpful. So let's define some things. And let's take this very first definition that Angel asked me about. So here is mine. Try this on for size. Shadow work is the process of becoming friends with the aspects of yourself that you thought were monsters. And hell, maybe they are. Maybe some of them are truly horrific. However, it's my opinion and experience that most of these quote-unquote monstrous aspects of ourselves that we use shadow work to reintegrate are actually just like really cleverly and beautifully custom couture made for you protection shields. Like, think of it this way. Have you ever been friends with an asshole? And like, they're a bitch. They're a jerk. They're an asshole. They'll tell you themselves, but you're friends with them anyway. And now why is that? Usually it's because that in spite of their assholery, which we're all entitled to a bit of assholery from time to time, they could also be very caring. They could have such sharp insight. Maybe they were funny. Maybe they were always on time. And maybe they were secretly just like so incredibly generous. Doesn't mean that they're not still an asshole, but all those other things are true at the same time. It's exactly the same. Becoming friends with the parts of yourself that you're like, well, this part of myself is embarrassing. I'm humiliated. Like, this part of me is just a cruel, disgusting asshole. Well, that's fine. Now, all of the energy that we are using to pretend that that are the douchebaggery of ourselves does not exist, and that we're just wholly good and wholly benevolent, that takes a lot of energy. Now, part of the point of shadow work, in my estimation, is not to correct things that are wrong with you. Far from it. It's literally to make friends with them, to reintegrate the douchebaggery, and not even to discover that at its heart of hearts, these parts of yourselves, of ourselves, it's not to try and prove that these monstrous part of ourselves are actually all good at the core of core. That's not the point. Because the point is not to be good. The point is not to be good. The point is to be whole. I'm going to say it again. The point is not to be good. The point is to be whole. Be a whole person. Your capacity for douchebaggery and assholery does not define you. And we use so much energy trying to pretend from ourselves, trying to hide from ourselves these aspects. But they have gifts to give, and the point of making friends with them isn't even to gather and utilize those gifts. It's not. It's not to make use of them. It's just to reintegrate them, because they're you. They're me. So shadow work is the process of becoming friends with your inner douchebags, your inner assholes, your inner monsters. And not for any other purpose, just to be whole. Not to be good. And shadow work is a term that is mostly used in woo circles these days, but at its core, it's psychology, which arguably so is functional woo. And shadow, the way that we, use it commonly, was coined by Jung. Right about the late 1800s. As Jung was born in 1875. But it is used a lot in magical circles, in woo circles. And here's where I want to make a really clear distinction. There is this idea that shadow work is something that you undertake when you are ready to suffer. I don't agree. Now, when you decide to intentionally make friends with parts of yourself that have been suppressed, will there be some uncomfortable moments? You bet your ass. Now, what great thing have you ever accomplished that did not have uncomfortable moments? We can do uncomfortable things. However, This idea that shadow work is just like a slog through pain, a slog through internal shame and guilt and grief. No. I mean, I am sure that you can do shadow work that feels like that. And if that's what you want to do because you like that sort of thing, my friend, I will hold you so warmly by the hand and wish you well on that journey. But I'm not a fan of suffering. You can ask my earliest students. My OG Sirens in group hoop once even put that on a tank top for me. No suffering. I'm not impressed by suffering. So no, I don't think that this has to be a painful process. There may be pain involved, but it's not a one endless slog through the dark night of the soul. There's intense pleasure in doing shadow work. Why else would I do it all the time? I don't want to suffer. And that's what I find so compelling about shadow work. And when I say shadow work, like you can look directly at the artwork that I have made, at any of it. It's all the same. It's all reclamation. It's all, look at this disgusting part of myself that I found and made friends with, and now I love it. Look at this monster that I found. That's what all of it is. So it's not super surprising to me arriving at this place in my life where I'm ready and eager to facilitate shadow work in the world. And if you were to ask me, but what about art? I'm like, what's the difference, y'all? What is the difference? What I am aiming to do this coming year is not to pivot away from art and creativity. It is getting deeper into it. And I wanted to use this podcast to define some other terms like magic and witchcraft and witch. What the hell is that? What is an artist? But I am looking at the time, and these are going to be, this is the last podcast that I'm recording in low work December. So we'll be back to the full 20-minute-ish episodes or longer. But I am still indeed giving myself room to play. I have 2 days left of December. After today, I'm recording this on Monday, the 29th. I'm going to use every second of that. My mom's on her way into town. She's going to pick me up. I don't know what we're going to do. Bullshit. But it'll be fun. So I'm going to save those definitions for another episode. I like this. I'm glad that I just spent this time just to talk about shadow work as I see it and some misconceptions that I think are there about it. And really the most important part from my perspective is that we don't do any of this to be good or to be fixed. We do this work to be whole. And not even to learn lessons. I don't think the purpose of life is for us to learn lessons. God, endless school. More like it's closer to that the point of being alive is so that the soul can experience itself. So more on this later. I want to say thank you to Angel and by proxy Fallon for this request. And if you have requests for future episodes, I would love to hear them. You can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. Now, by the time this episode drops, it will have concluded the Desire series. If you missed it and you want to get in on that, I am going to, you can find in the show notes the original link to sign up for the Desire series, and it will come to you in days 1 through 5. So you did not miss out. You can still have the thing, just not during the Land Outside of Time, because we're done with the Land Outside of Time now. So I want to wish you all a happy new year. And I do mean all of you, even the gross parts. That's where all the flavor comes from. This podcast is powered by Patreon, so much sincere and true gratitude for every single one of you, both for listening if you can't contribute, and especially to those who can contribute and allow this to exist for free for everyone else. So thank you for making this podcast, and indeed me, possible. Could not exist without you, not in this way. So thank you. So until next time, my friends, Happy New Year. Let's get ugly beautiful, and don't go back to sleep.